I now exhibit Dr. Pinnacle to his paper on the study of attrition phenomena for comparative aspect in automobile sector and IT sector in Pune.
Thank you, better. Am I audible? Am I audible? Yes. Thank you. On behalf of this organization and the organizers of the seminar, I would like to make some correction. Dr. Mangia sir has a total 35 years of experience, and last 5 years he is associated with Mudhanbhai Sorensen Director. Okay, so thank you all of you for giving this opportunity to present my paper, my research. This research we conducted with the help of statistical analysis and along with Dr. Jeena Joshi. She is my colleague in the DYPIMR, and we both have worked together to publish and write this paper. The title of this study is to study the attrition phenomena for comparative aspect in automobile sector and IT sector in Pune. The basic highlight that we have to address here is in India, where employment is crucial thing, and every investor, every people think that there is no issue of attrition. If somebody leave the organization, there are many people who are waiting at the gate to get the opportunity grabbed because of the vacancy created. But as a researcher, we found that there is a huge cost associated with the replacement of the human resources when it leaves. So this is the core aspect of the research. There are few questions we addressed during our investigation. This is my PhD research that I prepared the research paper on this with few modifications for the latest era. Next, please. So there is a bookish definition of the attrition that we first referred, and then as a researcher we provide our own definition for the attrition. So attrition is the reduction in employee strength either by resignation, retirement, or death. These are the three things we addressed for the definition provided by the dictionary, the Cambridge dictionary that we refer for the definition. But this definition is not comprehensive to address all the aspects of the attrition phenomena. That's why we provided our own definition by including few eminent and important things into it. So our definition as a researcher is attrition may be defined as the process of continuous reduction in the strength of human resources through the passive causes and friction within the particular organization, which for whatever reasons could not be completely replaced. So in this definition, we highlighted few keywords. The attrition is the process and that is continuous. We cannot stop anybody for leaving an organization. That will create an issue of bondage labor. That's why if somebody resigns, we have to accept it with the due rules and regulations for serving some month notice or etc. But we have to accept it. So this is non-avoidable thing for the corporates and the any organization. And that is continuous process. This is the first aspect that we highlighted in our definition. Then it is a reduction in human strength. So number of peoples. Now HR, we think it's a philosophy towards managing the people, and we're not just replacing the numbers. We are replacing skills, knowledge, experience, expertise, and their psychology, their behavioral aspect, their future potential. Everything is to be going to be replaced. So that thing we actually highlight in the last word of the definition, that is, for whatever reasons, these aspects cannot be completely replaced. We may hire another engineer, we may hire another faculty, but that perspective carried in our organization that could not be replaced completely. This is the essential thing that we address in this attrition definition. Then the strength of human resources. This is the second word we highlighted. Strength in terms of the contribution the person is making for the organization. Okay. So any person, any employee contributing to the corporates is giving some, the large span of his life to the organization. So the employee worker is in the organization for 8 to 9 hours a day. So this is almost 35% of his lifespan he is given to the organization. So that should be underlined, highlighted as the aspect of human resource management. So in this definition, we highlighted process, strength of human resources, and the causes. There are two things were addressed. First is the passive causes, and second is the friction. Passive causes means voluntarily employee leave the organization, and friction means there is some opposition, some difficulties he or she faced during the working life, and then it decided to leave the organization. In this research, we try to find out the reasons why people leave the organization. This is very simple. Next, please. Yeah. So a few highlights we drawn from the literature review and the definition. I make only 7-8 slides for this entire thing. Attrition phenomena involves reduction in strength of employees in terms of knowledge, skills, and etc. Then it resulted in the disturbance of the smooth functioning. So smooth function means just assume there is a team of 5 people working together and somebody leaves from the team. So that remaining 4 people will get disturbed for next few months. So they cannot work productively for next few months. Once another person replaced as a team member, it will take again 4-6 months to get collaborated with the team. So ultimately organization suffers for newcomers and the leaving of the experienced person. Then attrition phenomena resulted in the disturbance of the smooth functioning, and replacement of employees were not always available. The way we consider while interviewing the persons for joining the organization, that aspect could not be completely replaced. This is the second highlight. Then resulted in reduction of competitive edge. Competitive edge means, just consider, for example, there is a vice president marketing. He knows every bottom line of the product, and he suddenly switches the organization to another organization. He carries every connects, contacts, collaborations, product knowledge, strategy to the another. So the organization he is joining, it will get benefited by this resignation or the acceptance of the new job. So that ready material will be available to the new organization. They call it the talent acquisition. This is the talent acquisition. The competition is not at the level of product. If company want to compete in a competition, they don't want to develop a product. They just hire a competitive person from another organization, and that's it. He or she will do the resting for the organization. So this aspect we have mentioned here, and that is why making it a high cost producer. So there are indirect and invisible cost involved when the human resources are replaced. Okay. So all these things we actually find out from the literature review that I just summarized instead of looking the literature review in details. Next, please. Okay, now I am coming to the research objectives. We have 3 core research objectives in our research. First, to study comparative aspect of job embeddedness construct in manufacturing sector and IT sector. Both sectors we have compared. So job embeddedness is a construct which based on 3 different aspects that will come there. The second objective is to investigate the reason for the attrition manufacturing and in IT sector. So reasons, what are the reasons the person are leaving the organization? That we investigated in research. Third objective is to offer suggestions to avoid attrition phenomena. What are the suggestions to avoid attrition? Attrition should be healthy. That is the another one. Next, please. So I request organizers if is delayed, please stop me. Okay, so this is the analysis. This is the construct and the attrition observation in the automobile and IT sector. What we can see, the employee having 0 to 3 years with the organization, 32% employees will live in the IT and telecom sector, and 7% employee will live in automobile sector. So we can see retention is higher in automobile sector as compared to IT sector, right? And when the employees are groomed or be in the organization for few years, then it will be assurance that he will stay or she will stay there. So for organizations to avoid attrition, 3 years are critical things. First 3 years, organizations have to handle carefully. So the talent will be retained in the organization. That is the observation during this investigation. Next, please. Okay. So this is the job embeddedness construct. There are 3 aspects: organizational fit, link, and feeling of sacrifice. So these completely define the job embeddedness. So what is the organizational fit? Skills and the job requirement is another thing, but fit for culture, fit for rules and regulations. Now moonlighting is there. Right? The concept is there. So this organizational fit always employees seeking in any organization. If the fit is not there, he will try to leave the organization. Another one is link. The link of employee with the team member, subordinates, managers, supervisors, and any start from pupils, non-teaching also, or the any helping hand also. So all these link created is actually given reason to stay in the organization. So as an organization, any company, corporate house has to put significant efforts through the policy to make a link of the employees to the other teams. So that is we suggested last. Then the last one is feeling of sacrifice. When employee leaving an organization, what he or she is feeling while leaving the organization. If he or she feeling sacrifice he is doing for making the attrition or resigning the job, then it will create some bonding to stay in the particular current organization. Okay. So in this study, we adopted a methodology to investigate why employee selected particular organization as a present workplace and why he or she left the organization earlier, right? So that's why we selected Tata Motors and Capgemini as the both companies, and we interviewed 600 employees from Tata and 600 employees from Capgemini. So all these together left 32 organizations and then joined Tata and Capgemini. This is the research methodology. We solved a question for them. Okay. So this is the average present workplace organizational fit 3.75. Previous workplace 3.33. So in present workplace organization fit is 3.7. That is higher than the earlier workplace. That's why the employee are staying there. Then here also link in present workplace link created 4.14. This is the Likert scale that we adopted. Highly, strongly agree to strongly disagree. So that average is close to 5. That is strongly agree. They agreed. They have made a good link at the present workplace in manufacturing sector. In again, the feeling of sacrifice is higher in the manufacturing sector for the present workplace. That's why in manufacturing sector attrition rate is low. Somebody joins Tata, he or she may not feel to leave it very soon. It's treated as a government job. They cannot leave it. In IT, the fit is higher, right? Then link is also higher, and feeling of sacrifice is higher. But as compared to manufacturing, it is something lower level. All the fit and sacrifices are there. And again, because of this work from home model, it will take some issues while retaining the talent in the area of the moonlighting. Right? Next, please. Okay. So these are the conclusions. Attrition phenomena. Comparison. For the comparison, we made a conclusion. In the initial period of service, the attrition rate was observed to be higher. That is observed in the earlier slide. It may be attributed to the parameter of irrelevant job fit. More or employee settles down in the workplace. It may result in a higher level of job embeddedness and retention. This is the first conclusion. Second one, causes. Improving experience, career growth, and compensation stand equally significant. These 3 factors are there. Those are contributing as a reason for leaving the previous workplace. But basically, it is a joint function of various parameters which leads to the decision of giving up the present assignment. So there is no one single reason that we find out for the leaving of employee. We always observe that there is a salary or compensation could be the major reason. So that is not the observation. The jointly making a decision. So we have also studied one case study in Tata. The person employed there for starting from as a helper, he promoted up to the M1 manager. And at the retirement, before 2 months, he resigned the Tata. He spent entire life with Tata. He gradually selected as the helper at the age of 19. He spent 35 or 30, 40 years in the Tata and he left before 2 months of retirement. So we approached, we interviewed the person, we asked the question why you left because the span of time. So he said, there is a good opportunity to utilize my talent in IT sector. So there is no salary, nothing. So these are the reasons that were identified during our investigation. Next please. Yeah. And these are the two suggestions we provided during the investigation. The policymaker of both the sectors, Tata and Capgemini, may implement the strategies which could contribute to increasing the level of job embeddedness of the employee. This is our suggestion: link, fit, and sacrifice. These feelings to be increased for the employees so that they can stay in the organization. Cost efficiency of the measure should have to be considered while formulating the suitable policy. Whatever strategies companies are implementing for developing the job embeddedness, they should consider the cost efficiency of the solutions. And the third one, initial focus has to be given to the new joinee to develop their fit, link, and sacrifice to avoid early attrition. So these are the three conclusions that were drawn from the analysis, literature review, and the observation. Next, I think. Thank you. Questions from audience? Yes.
So, actually, the comparative study was there, but what according to what I experienced with my friends, that many of my friends and relatives are in IT sector. So what I have been saying, the three causes you have been given, but how much weightage will be there for the three causes? That career growth, and then again the compensation, and third I didn't remember. But the compensation, what do you think about that? That's what just I would
Actually, we shortlisted total 12 factors for assessing the reasons, in which we run a factor analysis. From that factor analysis, three things have come up. So initially, we analyze the exit interviews of the employees.
Okay.
But while the exit interview, employees are giving a sophisticated answers, the personal reason, something like that. But when we circulated questionnaire, then these three factors came up. And the weightage as such, there's the eigenvalue that we consider for accepting the factor in the model. So these three have more than one eigenvalue.
I'm just asking from your experience that you have taken exit or not. But the in IT sector, especially what I have experienced, and I have just having the chit chat and all the things. So how the compensation matters them more or not? That's what this.
In IT sector and automobile sector, there are two basic differences. When automobile sector creates a job, they have huge investment. Just example for the VMC. The VMC machine costs around 40 to 60 lakh rupees. And on that machine, they create one employment, which pay 15 to 18,000 rupees as salary. Okay. As compared to IT. IT professionals may get up to 80,000 of salary with the investment of one laptop. So creating employment in IT is quite easy. Okay. Then for the atmosphere. If you survey the automobile industries, there are huge differences. Tata is good. There are small scale industries, they are giving some different work-life balance, workspace. But in IT, almost 80-90% workstations environment is same. Now the factor remains is the compensation. That's why everything keep remains and salaries increasing, they will choose to leave the organization. That is our observation during the investigation. Students. Yeah.
So I've been doing one project in one company regarding attrition. So do you really think that asking direct question to the employees gives you the more perfect answer than twisting the questions and getting the answers from them? So which thing is more appropriate and which thing gives accurate answers?
Yeah, actually during the investigation, not for the research, but while I was pursuing my PhD on the same topic, so we developed some trigger points that could understand the employee will leave in a few months. For example, high absenteeism rate. This is the first indicator. When employee is trying to leave the organization, the absenteeism starts. Low morality. Not taking a leadership. in any kind of activity. So these are the three basic indicators that HR can observe, and they can say it would be a potential attrition rate you can increase. So when we conducted research, and Wipro Capgemini was having attrition rate around 45% a year. And the cost is around 15 billion for this annual replacement cost.
So shall I ask?
Yes.
Actually, I would like to say, first of all, I would like to comment on this, that the topic is very good. And basically, though both the sectors, automobile as well as IT sector, both are growing well in same line of action. Because they are going hand in hand. It's not something very different, but still the nature of business is something different. The nature of organizations who are carrying out their business,
Yes.
that is totally different.
Yes.
So you may have a kind of understanding, like a comparison between traditional business and
Right.
modern business activity based on the IT. So in automobile sector, mostly even if whatever the developments are taking place, you may find a somewhat traditional
Right.
atmosphere, environment.
Right.
And in IT sector, totally professional and new modern kind of atmosphere is available. Now, my question is, I just gave you this brief background. My question is, do you feel that working offline and online plays very important role in attrition or some kind of attachment with the organization?
Yeah, in automobile sector, work from home or online not possible at all. Few functions they make it for HR and some kind of thing they make it. Systems also. But in IT sector, it's quite possible to work. But having workplace, it will create some link. But working in isolation, working at home, it will not create any moral loyalty to the organization. That's why it is most important. If IT company has to reduce the attrition rate, they must start their working at their own offices. That will create some culture and some link also can be developed. Otherwise, job abandonment culture will not be applicable to these companies. If they are working from home, how they can create sacrifice, link and fit nothing? No, not possible. Right?
Yeah, and that interpersonal relations,
Yeah.
that kind of groupism, this attachment.
Yeah.
And maybe group and the physical connection, maybe what kind of what would I say? Offline culture will definitely have impact on each other. Over here right now. So you have a kind of feeling attachment with this particular class and this group, right? And if everyone is now, this conference is also going online. But see, I am not commenting anything adverse. But I am just trying to say that there is something difference. There is something
Right.
definitely
Right.
impacting on your attachment with the organization. If you're having maybe informal connections with each other, you would not like to leave the organization, right?
Right.
Because you have that culture. You know that we are helping each other, even if we have some personal problems, whatever. There are many friends with me, and we all are together. So this becomes a kind of different approach looking towards your life. So this.
Yes, and the next.
Yeah, so
sentence,
if
we
you
will
can
do this the
address this.
attrition study for the work
Yeah.
from home employees, the potentiality and the offline workers.
I know
That
that
we will
topic
do.
is just
Yeah.
taking away from your basic topic.
So that is good
discussion, but
suggestion that we
it's
are.
a kind of
Yeah.
extension
All
in
in
your
the, yeah,
research.
definitely.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dhananjay, for an insightful presentation.
Thank you.
Moving ahead with the conference, I would like to call upon Mr. Praveen Kumar Singh to present his research paper on stress management and work-life balance on well-being of spanning generations.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for that invitation. Can I share my screen?
Yes, sir.
And
Sir, you're not audible. And your screen is stuck.
excuse for that. Is the presentation has been shared?
No, sir.
One second, ma'am. One second. I'm audible now?
Yes, sir. It's visible, sir. You can start.
It's visible, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Good morning, all of you. I, Praveen Kumar C, Research Scholar and Assistant Professor from Department of Management Sciences, Maharaja Institute of Technology, Mysore. Here to present a paper on stress management and work-life balance on well-being of spanning generation, in fact, under the guidance of Dr. Shyam Bia, Associate Professor, Department of Management Sciences, Maharaja Institute of Technology, Mysore. So introducing about the topic, as we well known, stress is a universal and a natural phenomenon impact, where it is an unpleasant feel for an individual. So personally, and also in the perspective of organization, definitely some amount of positive stress is good. But when it is beyond a positive stress and it is leading to a negative stress, it will definitely affect the organization performance and also the employee productivity, and it is a very much reality among the various generation that we can take it upon. And in this study, we are concentrating mainly on three generation, that is generation X, generation Y, and generation Z respectively. So generation X is nothing but the people, individuals born between 1960 to 1980. Generation Y were the people born from 1981 to 1996, and generation Z is from 1997 to 2010. By meeting a couple of employees on direct and also having a discussion with them, we have identified in aspect of the causes of stress. So what are the major causes of stress that what people or IT employees are presently facing in Bangalore is the stress is exposed because of the tight deadlines, high workload, complexity of tasks, unclear expectations from the supervisor or from the bosses, technical issues, pressure to innovate. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Can I continue?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
Pressure to innovate, that is every in a day-to-day aspects they will be exposed in order to come up with something new, either in testing nor in developing or in whatever the domain that they are performing. Interpersonal conflict, that is the relationship that what they maintain with the colleagues, and also the various aspects, the external factors that will gonna influence, that creates conflicts among them itself. And the career growth pressure, as we know, there is a huge demand for job in the current context of the market, and also there is a huge amount of talent with various knowledge, skills, and abilities are also around. So there is a lot of demand for each and every position for each and every individual. So it automatically creates a panic in sense for any of the employees, where there will be more focus towards career growth pressure. So that also the one of the key factor that causes the stress among them. presently in the current context, what exactly the stress is influencing, impacting on the IT employees is regularly they feel or skipping the workplace. That is, they take up with more absenteeism, decreased of productivity where they are not able to meet up the exact deadlines. That is what is expected. Diminished morale somewhere around the corner, where as the science is growing a more and also the technology is driving the world, where people are more towards the result oriented than the behavior oriented. So somewhere down the line, the morale of individuals a little coming down, and this are leading to a high turnover, where individuals will be trying to look up new, better opportunities. So on an average, in the recent survey, in the whatever the last research we did, the high turnover rates are with respect to the IT employees, because most of the time they'll switch or change their organization very frequently for various due reasons. So this stress will also cause them in order to leave the organizations very quickly. So adding upon stress, so managing this stress is very much important for any employees or for any organization in order to make their employees stress free. So this stress management will definitely help them in order to foster into high motivation, contributing to the achievement of IT companies' objectives. And they themselves, if they are out of stress, they themselves come up with a lot of creative and innovative work. This is what it has been approached. So, in order to understand how the stress management happens, how could the stress management happen, how the stress management would leads to work-life balance, and how these two will contribute to the employee of well-being. That is what the attempt we have made in this study. So in order for the stress management in the realistic concept, based on my thesis title, we have tried to pitch in certain human quotients like intelligence quotient, that is how well they are knowledge enough in order to handle the situation and take up their work, how stabilized with their emotions, that is emotional quotient, how much they follow the spirituality, like meditations, yoga, and traveling, maybe listening to the music. So how much exactly they are into. So that spiritual human quotient is also used, and how open they are in order to learn the new concepts. How well they are motivated in order to change themselves. So that is one of the aspects measuring learning quotient. So this stress management, if it is a positive impact, then it could create some good work-life balance that leads to where automatically the employees tends to give a good working environment, satisfaction in their job, and health and wealth it will also be gained. That is a physical and mental health, and a morale will also be increased where they'll start uh, acting in the organization with more self-belongingness rather than just going for a place, doing the work and coming back. They'll tend to maintain some good harmony among the colleagues and also with the organization. So in this study, well-being is also addressed. So psychological well-being, physiological well-being, social well-being, and personal well-being is also considered as a sub-factors under the variable well-being. So speaking upon the objectives and hypothesis of this study, so objectives, we have defined two objectives to this. So first one is to examine the significance of stress management among spanning generation. That is the three generation that what we have considered. So completely theoretical, where in our paper we have exactly spoken about and discussed about what is the importance of this stress management. How do these quotients will influence the individual employees to come out of the stress? How do they influence in order to better stress management? That is what has been highlighted. Coming to the second objective, to analyze the impact of stress management and work-life balance on well-being. So as I was speaking in the last slide, so how well an individual can manage the stress and how that stress management will influence them to have a better work-life balance, and both in contribution to the well-being. And three hypotheses are defined and three null hypotheses are stated. So stress management has no influence on work-life balance. Stress management has no influence on employee well-being. Work-life balance has no influence on employee well-being. So these are the three null hypotheses what we have defined. This is what the model we have tried upon, the conceptual model. So in this, it clearly states about the stress management involves the quotients like intelligence quotient, emotional stability quotient, spirituality quotient, and also learning ability. Work-life balance involves the four factors which I have already addressed, and employee well-being also covers the four aspects. So here, the model says if the effective stress management leads to better work life, and better work life leads to employee well-being, and on the other hand, effective stress management will gonna lead to employee well-being. So this is what it is being proved with respect to the statistical analysis in the further slides. So coming up with the research design and methodology. So this research is completely a conclusive based research design with quantitative research being the type. And this study has been carried out with the help of primary data, and that primary data was gathered from the structured with the help of structured questionnaires from 125 IT employees who are working in Bangalore by using the convenient sampling technique. So statistical tools, we have used advanced SPSS tools, and the tools like factor analysis, reliability, and regressions are used in order to obtain what exactly the relationship that has been exhibited between the three variables what we have identified. And moving on to analysis and results. So this slide speaks about the factor analysis grouping, where the KMO and Bartlett speaks about the validity and also the linearity and also the collinearity of the primary data that has been gathered. So by the value of 0.712, 0.694, 0.844, which is greater than 0.5, what we have obtained from the responses from 125 IT employees. So it was said to be it is valid enough, and the same primary data was used in order to carry out the further analysis. So the Cronbach alpha, we can see the Cronbach constant is more than 0.7. That is what we expected as a standard, and this is come out with a good results with where employees have given most honest results. So we can see data what we have gathered is reliable, along with the 18 items, that is the 18 factors questionnaires under each section of stress management. Work-life balance was having 20, and employee well-being was having 18 factors. So the values of Cronbach alpha is greater than 0.7, so it was considered as a valid enough to carry out further regression analysis. So coming to the first part, whether effective stress management influences the work-life balance. Yes, we got with the results based on the responses provided by the employees. We can identify that the significance values 0.037, 0.000, 0.046, 0.000 again says there is a significant relationship. That means there is a significant impact. We can observe one thing is the intelligence quotient of an individual presently in the present context of 2024 and also the technological given era. If an individual is possessing a good intelligence quotient, then it gives him a more work-life balance. This is what the result we have obtained. So highest impact of 84.7%. And spirituality. So how many of us will gonna follow this spirituality kind of a thing, going to a temple, following this meditation, yoga and all, to influence on the work-life balance? So it is showing that it is only having an impact of 52.2%, and intelligence quotient being the highest. So we'll reject the first null hypothesis that what was stated. Now this speaks about the second one, purely about as a influence on the dependent variable, that is an employee well-being. So addressing upon in this, we can see that spirituality quotient. So we were speaking about the well-being, like measuring psychological factor, physiological factors and all. So the learning ability of an individual is possessing a higher percentage of an impact, that is 98.1%, and intelligence quotient in this on well-being is just showing 59.7%. So coming to the last one of measuring the model. So it is to measure the relationship between work-life balance and also well-being. So here we can observe that. So if a person with a very good work-life balance tend to have more amount of a morale. Morale is the one which is influencing or impacting more on the employee well-being, that is IT employees well-being. And job satisfaction is considerably measured a little bit low of 67.8%, and morale measured with 81.1%. So we can say that there is a significant relationship between, or a significant impact, or we can also say that work environment has more impact on well-being of an employee. So we'll reject the third null hypothesis also. Coming to the conclusion part, the study underscores the critical role of stress management. So the paper or the study what we have tried has given a clear thoughts on what is the real importance of stress management among the current generation of people. That is in the year of 2024, where the technological advancement is happening, and across the various spanning generation. That what we have discussed. The study underscores the interconnectedness of stress management, work-life balance, and the overall well-being of the spanning generation. That what we have discussed through the model and also with the analysis and results. So this study highlights the direct correlation. So if any individual employee, IT employee, can effectively manage the stress, then automatically they can have their upper hold with respect to the work-life balance, and they can also obtain a well-being by addressing their emotional intelligence, by intelligence's causes, and also their psychological and physiological factors, along with the organizational and personal factors. That is what been highlighted in the study. So by acknowledging and addressing the unique needs of each cohort, organization can cultivate a culture and promote resilience, so engagement and fulfillment, ultimately driving success in ever-evolving landscape of the IT industries. This is what we have concluded, saying that if the organization can also look into the aspects where their employees can be taken care in the various dimensions, so they can also adapt. Many of the practices are already adapted, like providing them team lunch, fun week, providing them the gifts for the festival, celebrating their birthdays. So along with these, as a stress busters, they can also practice something called as a quotients also, where they can implement meditations, implement certain yoga classes, sports, thing like that, where the employees can feel free, apart from their work nature, to make a very good harmony or build an harmony with the other employees. That is also one of the key aspects. So this efforts, our efforts on this study is very much relied both for the corporates, that is even the IT companies, and also this can be referred to the students also. So students who are in the final year or in the pre-final year before getting into a job market, if they have an ability to cope up, to handle the stress by managing or practicing these kind of intelligence, learning, emotional and spiritual aspects, questions like this, if they can adapt, then it will really help them in order to cope up with the stress. That is what we have proved and we have mentioned it in our paper. So it is a sincere gratitude to provide an acknowledgement to the earlier researchers who has helped us in order to frame and draft the concepts in a whatever the try that we have given in order to employees, especially IT employees, to overcome stress and manage their work-life balance, and also to have an effective well-being. So thank you so much for providing an opportunity to present the paper in the reputed conference of your things. Thank you so much.
Mike, can you put it? Hello, audible, Praveen sir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's a good presentation, nice analysis you have carried out. I have few
Thank you, sir.
queries and questions. It could clear my learning intention for asking the question. As I see in your variables, there are independent variables are there. Those are common, right? And you try to
Yes, sir.
establish their relationship with the regression analysis on the work-life balance and few indigenous construct. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
So I think, instead of using this simple regression, we should follow the structural equation modeling with the list square method. That would be good to analyze the interrelationship of this all the independent variables. And another one, the sampling size I actually missed. I don't see whether the sampling size is there. How much sampling size is used for arriving at this model? And the third question is the while using this the factor analysis, the fit indices are not visible. Have you calculated fit indices? Because this is the regression you use is only for the sample data, and while you are concluding the observation to the entire population, that the fit indices should be considered. So I just have a query. If you have carried out all these analysis, I would like to get your insight on this.
Yes, sir. To be frank, yes. Actually, what happened is we came to know about this conference with a very short notice. This topic is very much relevant to my thesis topic. So, with whatever the time we had, I was able to gather 125 responses. That is what we have mentioned from the IT employees. And I couldn't run all the detailed analysis. Actually, SEM was the primary aspect that what I had in mind. We are developing under the guidance of Dr. Sham Bia sir. Actually, we are drafting one more paper that is the continue of this paper with respect to the SCM modeling. So
Okay.
whatever you have said, it has been already incorporated, sir.
Yeah, because I missed to see the H square and the Q square test, so that these quality parameters of the model would be analyzed.
True.
So
Yes, sir. True.
this is my concern. Yes, thank you, sir.
Exactly, sir. Even CFAs also we have derived. So in order to give a better exposed result. So that is also, we are already incorporated. So we are already working on that. So analysis also is done. So we are putting into the next continue of this paper, sir.
Yeah. I can say it would be if you use the PLS, that would be a regression based same structure instead of the AMOS, because AMOS is a covariance based. For your model,
Yes.
PLS would be good, and that would give a good result for this. Yeah.
Sure, sir.
Thank
Sure.
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Uh, Hello, sir. Am I audible? Hello, Mr. Praveen
Sorry,
Kumar.
sir. No, sir.
Am
Sorry.
I audible now?
Yes, sir. There's a
Okay.
little disturbance, but you're audible.
Okay. So I would like to ask you one thing. As you have mentioned about the stress management, work-life balance, and well-being in IT sector.
Yes, sir.
Have you mentioned anything regarding the what we can say the recommendations for coming out of the stress in your paper? Can you run me through such points?
Sir, actually, in our paper, we have not mentioned any kind of recommendations as of now, but we have kept it down for my thesis purpose because the human quotients, what we have incorporated, not the many studies have happened previously. So our efforts of in order to put in human quotients, what I have mentioned, 4 quotients here. So it has really helped the employees, especially IT employees, to come out of stress, and that has influence for the better work-life balance. So purposefully, we not mentioned that. In future aspects, we'll like to disclose it, sir, because we are working on it in a larger aspects.
Okay,
That's what I
because
can
what I
say
felt
about it, sir.
that your paper is very nicely planned, no problem about that. But
Thank you, sir.
that part is missing somewhat. We feel that you have mentioned everything very clearly, you have analyzed it well. But why you are not suggesting anything to come out of that? So that is
Sir, actually, to be frank, my research thesis has been also been funded by some of the IT companies, where as of now, till my completion and till I provide them with what is the thing that has to be done, I can't disclose how it works and what exactly should be adapted and how it should be adapted. So I should not disclose it, sir. That is how the understanding has happened. So in none of my
it's
papers,
a real life project what you are carrying out.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is a real life project what I'm doing. sir.
Okay, so now on that basis, I would like to ask you, if you want to set up one model, then what should be the what we can sample size, or what should be the total respondents, number of respondents? Because if you want to set a model, then you have to go for thousands of respondents. for
True,
that.
sir. True. True, sir. Actually, what my study, I'm very much concentrated about Bangalore city because we from Karnataka and I'm from Mysore. So we are majorly concentrating in Bangalore, and we have segregated according to we are classified according to the geographical region, that is north, south, and east and west. And in each of the region, we are taking up a sample size somewhere around 1,200 plus.
Hmm.
And why is that 1,200 plus of a segregation is by based on identifying the number of IT companies that are available in various 4 geographical region. So in order to have a balanced kind of a sampling size,
Okay.
so the sample size will be more, sir,
It
compared to
will
the
be more.
population.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
As you have mentioned,
We are taking.
huh? You have mentioned in your paper that this could be applicable to other sectors and students also, right?
Yes,
But
sir. Yes, sir.
so far the nature of business setup, or maybe environment within the organization is different in different sectors. So if you want, you can just give suggestions, you can just mention something as a research paper, but if you want to give a model, then you have to create a different model for different sector. It cannot be applicable to other sectors. If you are creating this for IT sectors, that would be applicable only in IT sectors, because the points are different.
True, sir. True.
Challenges are
Correct.
different, right? So
Correct,
what would you like to say? Would you like to continue with your statement that this will be applicable to all the sectors or students?
No, sir. No, 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 no. I don't have to. I don't have anything to say about this. Is not applicable for all the sectors, as you said.
Hmm.
So majorly, if you can look into the paper, I've clearly mentioned it as this can also be applicable for the service industries. So
Yeah.
most of the service industries who are planning or who are working in the same strategy or in the same domains, they can use it. In order to try this, I was able to implement this some of the aspects of stress management in my college where we are working. So I'm not saying that we were completely successful, but quite manageable. Were able to achieve what was required. So there are major factors or major aspects that will really change with respect to the manufacturing services like that. So each domain has its own different way of modeling. Sir. We are not generalizing it.
Yeah, yeah.
But as for the service industries, we can use it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
For giving us an insight about your research paper. Now I would like to call Mrs. Aparna Sakore for presenting her research paper on impact of employee branding in employee attraction and retention in IT sector with specific reference to entry level employees.
Good morning, everyone. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
So with your due permission, can I share my screen and start the presentation, please?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Thank you. Sir, is the screen visible and am I audible? Should I start my presentation?
Ma'am, can you rotate your screen? It's visible, but not in the.
Now?
Yes, it is.
Yes. Thank you. Good morning to the panel members, my faculty members, and my dear students. I'm Mrs. Aparna Nilesh Sakore from working as an assistant professor in the Department of BBA in Dr. DY Patil ACS College, Pimpri. So today I would like to present my paper on the topic impact of employer branding in the employee attraction in the IT sector. So the objective of my study is the study will inquire about the impact of employer branding in the employee attraction in the IT sector. This is what is the objective of my study. Talking about the introduction, if we see that today's consortiums are the organizations are using the branding as a tactical instrument in today's business world. So employer branding is considered, like if we see today's like branding strategy, or employer branding is considered as an cutting edge strategy in recruitment and retaining the best talent pool in the organizations or the consortiums. So if we see, there is a vast relationship between the employer brand and employee attraction. So if we talk about the apparent value proposition of both the employer brand and employee attraction, we can say that there is a powerful and robust organizational brand which spells a value proposition in terms of appealing a place to work for growth opportunities and competitive benefits, which can attract the large pool of intellectual talents. If you see a strong employer brand is not only attracting the employees, but also it is about creating a positive employee experience. So if we see the brand, right, when we talk about employer brand, it is not about, we are talking about any tangible assets, any tangible thing. Rather, it is the employee which is having its experience while working in that particular organization. So the main purpose of this research paper is basically to identify how branding of the employer influences the employee attraction of the intellectual minds. Moving further with the literature review, I would like to focus upon Balmer, which is stated in the year 2001. He stated in his research paper that previously the brands were related to tangible assets. Right. But now when we're talking about this international trade environment, it has shifted to client-centric facilities. So another research paper which we came across with Levins and Smedley, he has stated a very interesting fact that, we can have a link between the concepts of marketing and human resources to build a very strong employer brand, which will help us in the process of recruitment and selection. So particularly the workplace brand firms attractiveness towards targeting the talents. Another research paper which also stated that, again, he also states the same thing. Moving further, Hart and Ziegert, who stated in the year 2005 that utilizing the concepts from the marketing field suggest ways how the corporate identify or brand could influence the organization attractiveness. So what are they stating is, if we can build the organizational brand more strongly, we would be able to attract more number of intellectual minds in the organizations. According to Sovina and Collins in the year 2003, they stated that the organization which have strong employer brand, right? The organization which is having a strong employer brand equity can attract huge talented pools of the candidates rather than organizations with a weak brand equity. According to Alsati, which he stated in the year 2015, he has stated that employer brand equity has boosted the leverage on employees' preference to the companies. So I would like to, add on these further when we will be talking about the data analysis and the interpretation that I have done in my research paper. The research methodology which is being adopted is this. This is based on descriptive and analytical research. The data which is being collected, which is through the primary data collection method, and which is being used by convenience sampling method using the Google Forms. There is some data which is also being collected from the internet, which is relevant to the topic of my research paper. If we see about the data analysis and interpretation, so the questions were asked to the respondents of who are belonging to the IT sector, especially having the experience of around 0 to 2 to 3 years of an experience. So the questions were related with the organizational brand, with the employer brand. So I collected around 153 responses from the IT sector. So the questions, if you see on the screen, which was asked was, what defines organizational brand for you? So if you see that there are 64.7% of the employees are stating that they would prefer what? They would prefer career growth opportunities over the brand. The second question which was asked is, how do you came to know about the organizational brand? So if the organization would like to, enhance their employer brand, we have seen that if we see that there is through college or institute. So people in the society know about the organizations because of the college or the institutions. They are mostly aware about the organizations from college or the institutes. The third questions which was asked was, sir, regarding whether the employees or whether the new generation who are liking to opt for the jobs in future, do they take any efforts to validate the information about it? Is not only talking about employer brand only, but do they really validate the information which is being provided by the college or institutions? So 96.7% of the people stated that yes, they validate the information. The last one, the fourth point which was being asked is the brand selected for the career choice? So they state that they are looking for the organization. They would like to opt for the organization basically for the long-term perspective and not for the short-term perspective. Even the question related with this was being asked, will you forego any opportunity to be selected in your favorite organizational choice? So they stated that around 71.2% of people said that yes, if they want to get selected in the organization which they are, in future they would like to opt for, so they would actually forego certain opportunities which are coming in their hand to get selected in the organization of their choice. The next question which was asked is, have you taken any dedicated efforts to get selected in your favorite organization? So yes, 83.7% of people are stating that if they want to go or opt for a certain employer brand, they are taking very much efforts to get selected in that particular organizations. They were 8% of people stated that they prefer bringing over different city. I mean, if they are asked to join a certain organization, a particular branded organization in different cities, so 68 of people said that prefer the brand over the city. Last question was being asked related to this skill. So in case they would prefer the brand over
Your voice is not clear. You're not audible here.
Hello,
Yes, ma'am.
am I audible now? Yes, just
Yes,
a
ma'am.
moment.
Yes.
Is the screen visible, sir?
Yes, yes.
Yes. So moving further with the conclusion, we would like to conclude this is, in conclusion, our research enlightens on the significant influence that the employer branding has on individuals while seeking for the job opportunities. So here we found that people or the employees are preferring more of the employer branding while seeking for the job opportunities in the future. As substantiated by the inclinations conveyed by the participants, a strong employer brand has not only employer brand not only serve as a strategic advantage and competitive edge, but it also plays a very important role in shaping the choices of the job seekers. The consortiums should acknowledge the impact of their brand image on the parties' perception and selection making process of potential talented pool of the candidates. And this research has contributed to the existing body of knowledge by providing the relationship between employer branding and employee attraction in the competitive world of its sector. So we would also like to suggest that the other companies should also focus, like the other companies which are not reputed, but still they are existing in the market. The small companies should also focus on brand image building, which will help them in their HR process, like recruitment and selection. So with this, I would like to conclude my presentation. Here we would like to state as your employer brand is the silent ambassador of your company culture, speaking volumes of to those seeking the workplace where the passion meets the purpose. Thank you.
Questions from anybody would like to ask from audience? Audience, any questions? No, me, okay, so shall I ask? Mrs. Aparna Madam, I
Yes,
would
yes,
like to ask you one question regarding, as you have, according to me, you have mixed up two different concepts and concluded with the same data that this would also be the result of your research paper. That is what my perception is clear that point. The question is impact of employer branding in employee attraction and retention in IT sector. So the attraction and retention, both are two different things. You
yes.
can attract employees, but how can you say that with the same branding or what the same atmosphere you can provide in the company, you can retain the employee? Because see, so far as the branding is concerned, there can be good brand name of any company, but the HR practices may be different. So if you enter into the company and you realize that this is not the place where I should work, then how can you say that with the help of branding you can retain the employees? That is
So,
what my question is.
I would like to add on this is actually the title which is been submitted like on the paper that is with attraction and retention. But my
Yeah.
paper, like I had 2 days prior, I had informed them that the new title, I mean the title, I have not taken retention. Rather, I have taken only attraction of the employees in the IT sector. So
Okay,
that is
okay.
what my
Yeah.
paper consists of, attraction of employees, considering the employer branding.
Okay, then it's okay. You can modify the title because
Yes,
see, whatever I have seen that there is nothing really regarding the retention of employee. So you can
yes,
just modify before finalizing it in the publication. So that is what my
yes.
suggestion is. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Just a moment. So here is the title, like the impact of employer branding in employee attraction in the IT sector.
Ma'am, can you landscape it?
Yes.
Choose it right now.
Sir, it's the impact of employer branding in the employer branding and employee attraction in IT sector.
Okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
Then it's fine because
Yes.
the paper in front of me shows that there is retention word. Therefore, I asked you the question.
Correct, correct. It is not mentioning regarding retention. It is only going to focus on attraction of employees in
Okay,
IT sector.
fine, it's fine. No issues.
Okay, okay, sir.
Hello, Mr. Prathamesh, are you there? Mr. Prashant? Prashant Golte, sir, are you ready?
Hello, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, please start with your presentation, Mr. Prashant.
Okay, sir. Just a second, sir. So, is my screen visual? Okay. Is it okay, sir?
Yes, yes, it's visible.
So, first of all, sir, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Prashant Bhupte, and I am from Dr. Patil Institute of Technology, and I'm here for representing my research paper based on analytical study of financial statement with the help of financial ratios. Introduction. The first of all, what is financial statement analysis? It is the process of accessing the connection between financial statements such as business balance sheet, income statement, cash flow statements, all these components in order to gain comprehensive and deeper understanding of the company's profit performance and situation known as financial statement analysis. Financial statement analysis is used for two purposes. First is to access previous performance, and the second is to forecast future performance. It were used by both practitioners and scholars. The practitioners used to predict companies' future success, while researchers focus on creating models that examine the ratios. In literature review, there are three research papers I research on, and the first is Moyer, McGuane, and Critlow, in which Moyer stated that the financial statement analysis is valuable tool for determining companies' advantages and disadvantages. Actually, it shows if company has sufficient cash on hand to cover its obligation, which is duties and responsibilities. After that, Drake, in his research paper, he stated that to support decision making in finance and investment and financial analysis involves choosing, accessing, interpreting, and financial data, and it helps to identify financial strength and weaknesses of a company. While when I research on Young's research paper, I get that he prepare up from the perspective of the company. So in his research paper, he stated that investor uses financial research analysis tool to access funding and resource allocation and profit potential. Theoretical background. In theoretical background, we first understand that what is financial analysis done for. If we look for financial statements carefully, we will get to know. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sorry for the disturbance. In theoretical background, we understand that if we look carefully, financial statements carefully, we will get to know how well business is doing financially. It shows its prior aim and is able to we are able to check companies making money and performing well. And this process involves collecting and summarizing financial data and making decisions. So I prepare the balance sheet of my companies and prepare on the basis of ratio analysis. Ratio analysis is a popular tool for financial analysis. It is a method used to evaluate companies' performance, and it also helps in accessing companies' strength, weaknesses, and overall health. In ratio analysis, I use these four ratios, which is profitability ratio, which shows profitability and operation success of the business. Second is liquidity ratio. These are the indicators of the company near-term capacity to settle debt as they become due to cover unforeseen expenses. The third is leverage ratio. This indicates how much of a debt has been used to finance various investment in different assets. And the last, the activity ratio. This indicates how well the company's assets are managed. The objective of my research paper is to analyze financial statements of scanty ledger. The second is to analyze liquidity position through various ratios, and the third is to study the financial conditions of the company. The research methodology I use is the secondary data, and for this purpose, I also collected balance sheet of a company and has taken information from company's annual report also. Data analysis and interpretation. There are several ratios I use, which first is profitability ratio, in which gross profit margin. Gross profit margin is the profit after the subtracting all the COGS, which is cost of goods sold, from revenue. And for getting its percentage, we we divided gross profit by sales and into 100. So, and I use 3 years balance sheet for scanty ledger so as to understand it easily. And here we see that in sales, in 2020 and 21, the gross profit was 12.16, and after that, sales increases constantly. And from this, we conclude that there is no growth in gross profit, but sale increases in the recent 3 years. Though there is no growth in gross profit, but profit increases minutely. The next is net profit margin. In net profit margin, it is a revenue after subtracting all the expenses which we get by dividing net profit by sales. And if we look at the table, we get to know that the net profit margin of Scantic Laser is increases due to increase in sales, better capacity utilization, and rising prices. Similar for return of equity and earning per share. The next is liquidity ratio, in which I use two main ratios. First is current ratio, and second is quick ratio. The current ratio suggests that it is a matrix used to access company's short-term liquidity, or we can say its ability to meet its short-term obligations. In which we concluded that a higher current ratio, the greater safety, large amount of current asset in relation to current liability. As per from the above graph, we observe that the current ratio is greater than 1. So company is in better position to pay short-term payment. In quick ratio, I concluded that it is better tool to measure the ability to honor day-to-day commitments. This ratio indicates whether the company has the ability to pay its short-term liabilities or not. The third is last is leverage ratio, which we use. It shows that it is used to determine how easily company can pay its interest on its outstanding debt. And I have concluded that the higher the ratio indicates company is easily able to meet its interest obligation as per from the above graph, and interest coverage ratio is increasing, so the company can easily meet its interest of obligation. And from that, from all the ratio analysis I done, I'm able to find the findings, and which are the gross profit is stable and in the 3 years due to increase in expenses. The next is the net profit margin of Scantic Laser increasing due to increase in sales. The earning per share and return on equity ratio of Scantic Laser both are increasing, so the investor can invest in company if but they have to think before investment, the large investment. After that, the operating net profit ratio is also increases. Current ratio indicates that the company is in better to pay short-term payment. Quick ratio is less than standard ratio due to inventories are slow moving. The interest coverage ratio is increasing, so the company easily meet its interest obligations. The here obligations are the duties and responsibilities which company is able to pay by covering its quick ratio and coverage ratio. The company is using their own funds rather than borrowed funds to avoid risk, and the company is better utilizing their capital work. Finally, we conclude all this. I concluded that the company expenses reduces at certain instant, and gross profit increases as expenses. If we reduce expenses and gross profit, then can be increased. After that, the net profit ratio is increases, but not enough to in surviving today's competitive market. So that's why investors should think before investment in this company. After that, earning per share and return on equity shows both are increasing after, and hence companies in better position, and there is scope in company to improve more in near future. Thank you.
Hello, Mr. Prashant, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
What are the different types of financial statements?
Hello.
What are the different types of financial statements?
Sir, am I audible?
Yes.
Sir, there are financial statements such as income statement. After that, balance sheet, cash flow statements these are the component tools which we use to which we are used to predict future of the company's performance, or we can predict its past performance also.
And what about fund flow statement?
Funds, what, sir?
Fund flow statement.
Funds flow statement are profit and loss statements, sir, from where we take information about company's profit or what it expenses, all something like.
I think you have to collect more information about fund flow statement. This is also one of analyzing the financial statements.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and one more thing, why did you select the method of ratio analysis for this particular analysis?
Sir, just a second, sir. I'm not correct.
Why did you
Absolutely,
select the ratio analysis as
Acha.
method for analyzing the financial statements of this company?
Actually, sir, I think it was suitable method and it is easy to understand, sir. So that's why I choose this method, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Prashant, for your presentation. And we are done with physical and as well as virtual presentation. Without any further delay, I would like to call Dr. Prasad Bange sir to share his wisdom.
Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, am I audible now? So overall, to comment on this today's session, I would like to first of all congratulate all the participants who have done really very good presentation. The program organized is also very well. And so I would also appreciate the team who has organized this entire session. Looking towards the presentations, we had a total 4 presentations, right? The presentation by Dr. Dhananjay sir was uh, based on the entire technical analysis and proper data collection, and the way he has presented was also to the point, and the conclusions drawn were also relevant to the title. My intention to give a little insight regarding the research paper is you have to stick to your title. First of all, you have to create a good title. Based on the title, you have to find the parameters or the factors which are having impact on the on each other, and then you have to start working on that. Because normally what we have seen that the title is different, and the student or maybe the researcher starts working on little different line, and it goes a little away from the heart of the topic or heart of the title. So that care we have to take. And so far the Dhananjay Pingale sir's presentation was really very good. Next, I think the presentation was Praveen Kumar, Mr. Praveen Kumar. The title was related to stress management, work-life balance and well-being. That was also really very good. And it was also literally based on complete statistical analysis and really very good developed. And he is working on the particular real life project. So I would definitely wish him the best for his future project and developing the model for a particular IT sector, industries or service industry that presentation was also good. And I think students can go through these presentations, which will be definitely helpful for them to develop their research attitude and maybe some kind of development of new topics related to IT sector or modern technologies. So students can go through this. And next topic was related to employer branding and employee attraction. Uh, Aparna madam has also presented very well. She has specifically mentioned one by one question and its responses and analysis, percentage wise responses and the positivity of the respondents regarding her research. So that was also good paper. And it is related to the current topic in the IT sector or even in modern industries, which is really the need of this particular period, that how to attract the employees for any particular, because in modern sense, HR sector is also considered as marketing of human resource. So companies are supposed to market for the human resource. Market in the sense they have to market themselves for attracting the human resource. In that context, this paper is really helpful to study. And last one was related to financial statements. And yeah, it is presented by Mr. Prashant Bhogde. That was also a very well studied paper and the analytical tools used. I asked him the question regarding different analytical approaches, but the way he has presented was really good because it was the, I think he could not answer, but I would like to mention here that because it was the comparison of 3 years of financial statements, it was the best method to use ratio analysis to come for certain come with some maybe conclusion whether a particular aspect is improved or not, or whether there is some increase or decrease, whatever. The right way of analyzing was related to ratio analysis. So that was also very good. So overall, all the presentations were very good. I encourage all the students to come out with their research topics, prepare the research papers and present well. This your institute has given really very well platform for your own development. And I, being academician, I always suggest the students that you use this platform. Whenever it is the time to use this, that time only you can use it. If you go after your graduation, you cannot have this particular opportunity and time. Even if you start demanding for that, you will not get this opportunity. So I hope that you yourself have to come ahead to present your own research papers. Really very good platform you have over here. Thank you very much.
As we are concluding our national conference, we all got a great insight of various research topics presented here. I, on behalf of Dr. D.Y. Patil Institute of Management and Research, thanking you all for presenting your research paper. And I also like to thank Dr. D.Y. Patil Institute of Management and Research for organizing this 2-day national conference on Pinnacle's perspective, unifying strategies and technologies for tomorrow. I would like to thank our esteemed jury, Dr. Prasad Bhange sir and Dr. Kiran Kaya sir, who is HOD MBA in TIT, for being a wonderful jury and giving us your precious time. Have a great day. Thank you.